What do we have here? Oh my goodness.
Hi everyone. Oh, sorry, I'm just practicing social distancing and run out of masks. So I sort of took that from. So I'll put that down there. We'll just stay our distance, stay socially distanced apart. And oh, look what I found in the graphic novel section. It's my book. We won't do any more gratuitous plugs, but graphic novels are so hot right now. So Scarlet Hood, I'm an author. My name's Mark Evans, and it's one of my books. And another one is the award-winning Crazy Crab. It's a picture book. But I promise we won't do any more gratuitous plugs than... Oh, okay, there's this gratuitous plug, but that's it. What I wanted to do today was run you through some of my favourite books that inspire me, books that I love and make me want to write, books I wish I'd written. And so let's go explore, and we'll go, come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Oh look, there's a comfy chair. We might try looking down here in this lovely comfy chair with Wolfie, Snow Wolf, and show you a few of these books that I love and I read to my children, and you can come to them again and again and again. The first book I wanted to show you was We're Going on a Bear Hunt. Now this is an absolute classic. It looks really simple the way it's written, but it's got such craft to it. This is perfect to start a book with your kids. This one I got in Bologna in Italy, was signed by Helen, the author. And the thing I love about this book is the rhythms of it. It's got such great rhythm and cadence, and all the kids can join in with splish, splash, splosh, splash. But one of the things that I think people don't realise about this book, which has amazing illustrations as well, a mix of colour, mixed with black and white, mixed with colour, and it creates this really incredible rhythm, stumble, trip, you can play with the words. But what people don't realise is it's actually a book that is like a movie, like a suspense movie or a thriller movie, because as it gets along, you're getting into the cave, you're looking for the bear, and it's, what's that? And it gets more scary. One shiny, wet nose, two big furry ears, two big googly eyes. It's a bear! And then you can rush through, quick, back through the cave, tiptoe, 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 and then back through the storms, whoo, back through the forest, stump, trip, and it builds and builds, and the excitement gets as the bear's chasing over them. Get through the front door, open the door, up the stairs, oh no, we've got to shut the door, quick, back down the door, and you go down the door, close the door, shut the door, back upstairs, into the bed, into the covers. We're not going on a bear hunt anymore. That's really, the kids will want to hear that every night over and over again. I love that story. Really great one, going on a bear hunt. As they get a bit older, one of my favourite authors is Jez Alborough. Does so many amazing titles, and I know they have them all here. Where's My Teddy is fantastic, about a boy who has a tiny teddy, and then the big bear is a big teddy, and there's loads of good voices you can do with that one. Cuddly Dudley is one of my favourites. It's about a penguin who's so tired of being squashed up with all the other penguins and wants to escape and just get away, but every time the door knocks, another penguin wants to cuddle him, until finally it's got great pictures too. Finally he goes through, and an Eskimo comes to the door and starts chasing after him and saying, give us a cuddle, come on, give us a cuddle, and starts chasing him around, and eventually he goes back to his flock of penguins and wants to be back with him. That's a really beautiful story. The thing about Jez Alborough is the master of rhyme, probably the best author I think of rhyming since Dr. Seuss, who of course is the god of rhyme. But he does it in such a natural way, and the Duck series is fantastic, but really, really funny as it sort of gets more ludicrous. This one's about a ball getting stuck in a tree, and they keep trying to throw things up there, and of course those things get stuck up in the tree, all done in rhyme, all really, really funny. And then they all stack up on top of each other. But my favourite one is Watch Out, Big Bro's Coming. And it's about this little mouse who comes up to these animals who's really scared because Big Bro's coming. I'll just read you a little bit of it. Look out, squeaked the frog. Big Bro's coming. Big who? Said the parrot. Big Bro, said the frog. He's rough, he's tough, and he's really big. Really big, said the parrot. How big? The frog stretched out his arms as wide as he could go. This big, he cried, and he hopped off to hide.
Alright, watch out, spoke the parrot. Big Bro's coming, Big Bro, Big Bro.
What's that? Who's he? Said the chimpanzee.
Don't you know who Big Bro is? Asked the parrot. He's rough, he's tough, he's ever so big.
Ever so big, said the chimpanzee. How big? And the parrot screeched out his wings as wide as they would go.
Ah, this big, he cried.
And he flapped off to hide. Look out, the chimpanzee. Big Bro's coming. Big Joe, said the elephant. No, said the chimpanzee. Big Bro. He's rough, he's tough, and everybody knows how Big Bro is. The elephant shook his head. Oh, I don't know. The chimpanzee stretched out his arms as wide as he could go. This big, he cried. Whoop, that big. Gulped the elephant. Let's hide. So there they all were, hiding and waiting, waiting and hiding. Where is he? Asked the elephant.
Shh, said the chimpanzee. I don't know.
Why don't you creep out and have a look around, whispered the elephant. Not me, said the chimpanzee.
Ah, not me, said the parrot.
Not me, said the frog. All right, said the mouse. As you're all so frightened, I'll go. The mouse tiptoed ever so quietly from his hiding place. He looked this way, he looked that way, to see if he could see Big Bro. And then, he's coming, shrieked the mouse. Hide! Big Bro came closer and closer. Everyone covered their eyes. Oh no, said the frog. Oh no, whispered the mouse.
Ah, help!
Gasped the parrot. I could hear someone coming, whined the chimpanzee. It's him, whimpered the elephant. It's... I'm not going to let you know. Big Bro, you'll have to check that one out. If you don't see... that's cool, isn't it? If you don't see any of these on the shelves, I know that Paper Bird can order them in for you. They're pretty amazing like that. Another series I love, and this one they will have to order in for you because it's not very well known, but it's fantastic. It's called I Love You, Stinky Face. And there's a whole series of them. It's Time for School, Stinky Face. I Miss You, Stinky Face. And there's another one about Halloween as well. And it's about a girl who is kind of asking her mum if she really loves her. And mum's going, of course I love you. And she goes, but Mama, what if I was a big scary ape? Would you still love me? And she goes, if you were a big scary ape, I would comb your whole hairy self and make sure you didn't have any tangles. And I would make your birthday cake out of bananas. And I would tell you, I love you, big scary ape. And it just keeps going. You go, but Mama, what if I were a super smelly skunk and I smelt so bad that my name was Stinky Face? Hence the title. And she said, well, I will give you a bath and sprinkle with sweet smelling powder. And if you still smelled bad, I wouldn't mind. I'd hug you tight and whisper in your ear, I love you, Stinky Face. But Mama, what if I were an alligator with big sharp teeth, enough to bite your head off? Well, if I would buy you a bigger toothbrush for those big teeth, and make sure you brush them every night, and they stayed healthy and strong, and if you had a sore throat, I would stick my head right inside your enormous jaws to make sure you're okay, and I'd say, I love you, my ferocious alligator. And it just keeps going on and on. She comes up with all these scenarios about dinosaurs and swamp monsters, and it all ends with her, of course, saying, no matter what, I love you. And all of her books are like that. They're really crazy and over the top. Another series I wanted to show you, Nick Ward, of course, a lot of you are very, very familiar with because he does The Cranky Bear, which I know is very big. But one series I don't think a lot of people know about, I think he's very big in the UK, is The Naughtiest Ever Fairy. These are a fantastic series. There's a whole heap of them. Naughtiest Fairy, New Friend, Nicest Naughtiest Fairy, that's the first one, and Naughty Surprise. There's a whole series of them. And it's about a little fairy, and she's always trying so hard to please everyone, but unfortunately the harder she tries, the more mess she gets herself into, casting these spells and and sort of making a mess of everything. It plays with all the nursery rhymes. Where's the one I had? Naughty surprise. Oh, this one, she makes a surprise for the king and queen, and that goes all wrong. Naughtiest friend. She starts to duplicate herself into like hundreds and hundreds of fairies. So that's fun because you can do the pop sound as they start popping up everywhere. Pop, 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 pop. And yeah, all the illustrations are really amazing, but it gets all out of control for the naughty fairy. That's a really fun one. The kids love that. Another series I love, which again not too well known, but there are quite a few in the series, is Traction Man, and it's by a great artist, illustrator, author called Minnie Gray. She won an award for the Greenway Award for Adventures of Dish and the Spoon, which you might be familiar with, which puts a little twist on the Dish and the Spoon and the Cat and the Fiddle. And in this series, it's about an action man, but he sort of comes to life with all these inanimate objects around the house. And it's done in like an old 1920s, 30s action film sort of thing. So it's like a graphic novel, really easy for young kids to get into as an early reader. And he's constantly telling him about his action man wardrobe, and he's fighting things like pillow monsters, or he's going into the dishes and dealing with the wreck of the sieve or the ugly dishcloth, and they all come to life, these inanimate objects. His sidekick is the brush. It's a dog. And I'll read you a little section of this just to see what it's like. Here we are. Traction Man is speeding in his supersonic space cup and saucer, wearing his all-in-one knitted green romper and matching bonnet, on the way to rescue the cupcake from the clutches of Dr. Sock. Ah, will you be my wife? But oh, no. Well, at least Scrubbing Brush doesn't seem to laugh at him. They're making fun of him because his grandma made him this horrible, horrible outfit. Traction Man is sitting on the edge of the kitchen cliff, wearing his all-in-one knitted green romper suit and matching bonnet. Arf, arf, arf. Oh, do be quiet, Scrubbing Brush. Arf, arf, arf. My goodness, down there, all those spoons have crashed. There must be helped. But how? The kitchen cliff is very high. Look out, the dust cloud. We must hurry. The broom is coming. Where is Scrubbing Brush? What is he doing? Hang in there, spoons. We'll hoist you to safety.
How can we ever thank you, Traction Man?
All in a day's work, young spoons. Traction Man and Scrubbing Brush, give us these medals. Well, I never. Traction Man and Scrubbing Brush are relaxing after their latest mission, lying comfortably on a book in a huge blue expanse of carpet. Traction Man is wearing the knitted green swimming pants and matching swimming bonnet. They are both wearing their medals, and they are ready for anything. So it's like a continuation, you know, it's a serialized action. This one even comes with a CD. Next, one of my favourite books is by Andy Stanton, who's very big in the UK. I'm not sure if he's that huge in Australia, but Mr. Gum series. They're a totally bizarre series of books. I'll read you a bit of the first chapter. I said he's just so funny because he has this ability that's sort of like a Monty Python. Your parents will love you reading this book, or them reading it to you. It's really huge in the UK. I think Kate Winslet does the audio books. And let me read you the first chapter and you get a sense of it. It's so strange. Chapter 1. Spring fever. Yes, no, maybe, what? Hello? The whole squeak-mantling mess began on one day so innocent, a day so sweet and pure, a day so splendid, superb and magnificent. It could only be the first day of spring. Ah, spring, or as it's called in France, le boing. It is a brilliant season, definitely in the top 5. And what a fresh eel special spring morning it was in the town of Bibber, my friends. The sun was shining, the birds were playing Quidditch in the treetops, and the ground was sort of just laying there, letting people walk all over it. It was a glorious, give me morious, start of the storious sort of spring morningus, and as you can imagine, with your tiny little brains, everyone was looking forward to it like a rascal. I'm looking forward to it like a rascal, said Jonathan Ripples, the fattest man in town. I think I'll celebrate by eating not one, not two, but 8 hot cross buns. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it like a rascal, said Martin Laundrette, who ran the laundrette. I think I'll celebrate by spitting, not one, not two, but all 8 of Jonathan Ripples' hot crust buns.
The old ways are back!
I'm looking forward to it like a rascal, said a little girl called Peter. That's the sort of strange thing this book does. I think I'll read my favourite children's book. Biffy the Worm gets arrested for accidentally murdering everyone in Canada. It's unputdownable. But just as everyone was about to settle down into the beautiful spring morning of eating, spitting and reading, a terrible shrieking could be heard. It was old Granny, the oldest woman in Bibber. She was running up the high street and she was shrieking at the top of her voice,
The old ways are back!
as high as she could. Up the street, her petticoat a billow.
The old ways are back!
Oh dear, said Jonathan Ripples, shaking his big fat head in a big fat sadly way. She's been at the sherry again.
Lies, protested old Granny,
taking a quick sip of the sherry from a bottle she kept hidden in her handbag.
I never touched the stuff. But listen, the old ways are back, I tell you.
Well, by now a large crowd had formed, and amongst them were 2 of our heroes you might know quite well. One was Friday O'Leary, a marvellous old fellow who knew the secrets of time and space, and the other was Polly, the happiest 9-year-old girl you could ever hope to meet. She was brave and true, like a how do you do, and she had everything you needed in life. A face, a couple of elbows, a pocket full of felt-tip pens, hardly any of them had run out. The truth is a lemon meringue pie, shouted Friday O'Leary, as he sometimes liked. Friday O'Leary has this weird thing where he's got like a Tourette's, but he only ever shrieks out Friday is a lemon meringue pie. Very strange. What is all this then? Shh, said Polly. Old Granny's about to speak. The townsfolk felt silent as old Granny regarded them with a mysterious gaze. Then she fell asleep. Then she woke up and she regarded them with a mysterious gaze. Then she fell asleep again. Told you she was drunk, whispered Jonathan Whipples.
Lies,
Said old Granny, her eyes flying open into an almost mysterious gaze. Now,
here is my incredible news. The old ways have come back from before the days of science. Ancient spirits have awoken. Strange wisps and fancies are among us. The truth is, I tell you now, with me I will show you.
ooh, went a little girl called Peter. Ah, went Jonathan Ripples. Chip, 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 went crazy Barry Fungus, who thought he was a bird.
The old ways are back,
Cried the crowd, and off they all set, after old Granny, chanting the old ways are back, for all they were worth. What do you reckon, Fried? Said Polly. Shall we follow them? I think we'd better, said Friday, stroking his toes carefully. They all seem to have gone a bit mad, and that is what is called spring fever, or, as it's known in France, le crazies de la brains de la boing boing. And that's just chapter 1, so that is insane. But so much fun to read. The audiobook's quite good too, with Kate Winslet. Finally, exhausted after this, is The Bad Guys. Now, I know Aaron Badley is a rock star in Australia. He's probably one of our best exports. They're going to be making this. As soon as I read this book, I went, oh, this is going to be a movie for sure. And sure enough, I think DreamWorks have picked up this, so I'm sure Aaron Badley is buying his 3rd or 4th house now after that. But his books are so good. You'll know the pug dog, That's his big one. But the Bad Guys is fantastic, especially for guys who are just starting out reading. The great thing about Bad Guys is there are so many great characters, so you can do all the character voices and practice them. I'll read you a little chapter, and you can go to an idea. You can make your own voices. These are just my ideas for my voices, but I love the Bad Guys. So here, there's the Bad Guys. The whole premise of it is the wolf is pushing for all these traditionally bad animals to be the good guys, to be the heroes. But every time they try and rescue people, they're seen just as the bad guys. So in this one, they're trying to rescue the chickens who are caged chickens, trying to rescue them from Sunnyside Chicken Farm. And they've got the shark, they've got a snake, a piranha, and a wolf character. I'll just read you this chapter. So, this Sunnyside Chickens. You want us to break into a chicken farm?
Chicken? Did you say chicken? A chicken farm? But that little chickie looks happy. Why does he need to be rescued, Mom?
Oh, really? Well, take a look inside Sunnyside Chicken Farm, fellas. 10,000 chickens, stuffed into tiny cages, 24-hour day, with no sunlight and no room to run and play.
Oh, but that's awful. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
What? What are we waiting for? We need to let those little chickie babies free, Mom.
Let's go. Oh, let's go. What's up with you, Mr. Snake?
I really don't know. I guess he must really love those chickens, Mom.
Yes, chickens.
Are you okay, man?
Huh?
Oh, yes, sorry. I was just thinking about those chickens. They're delicious. I mean, they're delightful. And I think we need to go save them right now. Oh, if only it were that simple, my friend. But I'm afraid I have to tell you some bad news. Sunnyside Chicken Farm is impossible to break into. It's maximum security. Chicken farm with steel walls. They're 30 feet high and 8 feet thick. There are no windows, and all the doors are heavily guarded. And even if you did get inside, you'd be caught instantly because if you touch the walls, the alarms go off. If you touch the floors, the alarms go off. If you walk into the laser beams, the alarms go off.
Did you say alarms and laser beams? Why are you even showing us this, Chico? We don't have the skills to pull this job off.
No, we don't. But I know a guy who does. Who?
Me? Hey dudes, it's totally awesome to meet you.
Ah! Run, chicos! It's a tarantula!
Can't breathe. Freaking out. Don't like spiders. Can't breathe.
Are you kidding? I'm sorry about this, Legs. I don't know what's wrong with them.
It's cool, happens all the time.
Legs, you know this monster? What are you thinking about bringing a tarantula into the clubhouse?
Can't breathe. Spider. Mummy. I want my mummy.
Mr. Shark, pull yourself together. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. Legs is just like us. He's a good guy with a bad reputation.
Oh, thanks, Wolf.
He's dangerous, man.
Yeah, and why? Why isn't he wearing any pants?
I don't do pants, dude. I like to feel free.
Can't breathe. No pants. Freaking out.
Okie dokie. Legs, why don't you show them what you can do?
Okay, well, let's start with something simple. Here you go.
Hey, that's my police file.
Jeez, they don't like you very much, do they?
But nobody can access them. There's no way you can hack through their system. They're the toughest security there is.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. But it's worth it just to see you smile, Mr. Snake. Access granted. Look, I'll change this, Mr. Snake. Very lovable. Give him a hug. Ta-da!
Impossible, man. Hug it up.
Now, for a super cracker like Legs, he's a computer genius, and he has a plan that'll get us inside the chicken farm.
Thanks, Mr. Wolf, but first I'd better put this back the way I found it. We're all good guys after all. I wouldn't want to get you in trouble. Sorry, Mr. Snake. You're dangerous again. This is so cool, guys. I'm so happy to be part of the team, and I bet by this time tomorrow, we're gonna be besties.
Spider. No pants. On my head.
Hey, Chico, I got one word for you. Trousers.
And that's the bad guys. So as you have lots of fun with the voices, make up your own voices. But my son loves reading that one and putting all the different voices. And that's it. That's what I wanted to do, show you around some of my favourite titles. As I said, Paper Bird is the most amazing place to come because they have pretty much all of these, and if you ask nicely with the staff, they can order them in if they don't have some of the Mr. Gum or Traction Man. I'll just quickly show you through again. So if you're looking, we've got the bad guys. That's the Blaby, of course, big star. Mr. Gum was Andy Stanton. We've got, as I said, Traction Man, Minnie Gray. The Naughtiest Fairy was Nick Ward. I Love You Stinky Face, that's Lisa McCourt. And Jez Alborough, who has so many great books. Every single book of his is fantastic. And Big Bro Coming, that was one I read from that. And then lastly, we started with Helen Oxbury. We're going on a bear hunt. So come on down to a bear hunt with us. Remember, you can order online or check out my books, Crazy Crab and Scarlet Hood, which is in the store now. And thank you so much for joining me and isolating with me. I don't know where my mask is, but I hope you all stay safe and well. And the best bit about all of this is it's such a great opportunity to read books and not have mum go, get off your book, because you're stuck inside. So read lots of books, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.
We have also, before you finish, 5 questions that I want you to answer off the cuff.
It is off the cuff. I was not expecting
As
that.
a visiting author.
Yes.
Hi everyone, it's Jen behind the screen. First one is
Yes.
M&M's or Skittles?
M&M's. I'm chocolate. M&M's. Yes.
Treehouse or Cushion Fort?
Treehouse. Yes. Yes.
Fly or breathe underwater?
Fly. Absolutely.
Now I'm trying to remember the 4th and the 5th.
Because you often ask the people, would you like to be invisible or fly? If they choose fly, it means they've got an adventurous spirit and they love to go out and do adventures and fly. It's an amazing thing. If they say invisible, you got to watch out for them because that means they're sneaky and devious. Because the only reason you want to be invisible is you want to spy on people or do devious things. So that's a good character. You might want to ask your staff when you hire them. You ask them that innocuous question of, oh, would you like to be flying or invisible? And if they say invisible, go, go down to the bookstore down the road. We're not hiring today. And the other question now?
The other questions. Can anyone else remember the other questions that we asked the other authors?
Oh, yeah, because the last one.
Yeah, we've had a lot of comments. The people have loved the voices.
Mm-hmm.
And
The other, I did forget my other one. My absolute favourite author of all time is Mo Willems. I completely forgot. Mo Willems is my absolute favourite. We all know in Australia the pigeon books, but the one which isn't as big for some reason is The Elephant and the Pig. I mean, they are big, but not as big as the pigeon books. When you go to the US, I went on a tour to New York, and all of the bookstores there, they'll have a whole shelf just devoted to Mo Willems. And I love the Pig and the Elephant books are my absolute favourite because he used to be a sketch comedy writer and stand-up comedy. So all of the books of the Elephant and the Pig are done in a two-hander kind of sketch comedy routine. And again, you can use great voices with that. But when I read that to children, they're like tears of laughter because the way they set up Pig and Elephant. So that's another great book. But of course, we all know the Pigeon. That's another great one. And they have that down here, so come down and pick that up.
And Rebecca Newman's reminded me, favourite bird?
My favourite bird would be the eagle, because I am a West Coast Eagle supporter. Sorry, I know I'm in the Docklands, Dockers heartland. Yes, eagle, yeah. What's Rebecca's favourite? Rebecca.
Well, we're waiting for that.
Anyone
And the
else?
fifth question, I'm just trying to think. The fifth question was, no, can't remember it. We might have to ask Mark later, and I'll
Yeah.
I'll put
I'll
it
make
up on the
sure
website.
I respond on the Facebook thing.
Oh, Rebecca's is the pelican.
The pelican, that's a great choice. The way they hang over those lights in Perth. I actually I was driving the other day down Riverside Drive, and I saw a pelican, and it had a fish in its mouth. Oh, it's got a fish. And then somehow it flopped out of the mouth and landed flopping on the road, the fish. And I was driving along and I thought, because it was a huge fish, I thought, should I go back and get that fish? And you know when you have that regret of, I should have gone back and I would have had a big fish to take home. But then I thought, oh, maybe the pelican, it landed on the road, like they wouldn't have gone down to get it. And it seemed like such a waste, this big fish that had escaped and must have gone, I'm free! But it had flapped on the road and I don't know what happened to it.
I've been rescued, Mark. Brianna Nolan has reminded me, early bird or night owl?
I am unfortunately a night owl. It's not good for your health, night owls. But yeah, I am a night owl. That's when I do my most creative stuff.
Brilliant.
Yes.
So we've got through the 5 questions.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Mark,
Thank you
for
very
joining
much.
us.
Thank you, Wolfie, for keeping me company. Thank you for the invite, and thank you everyone for watching. That's awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.